Okay, YouTube, hello, welcome back. Right, we're back down on the new workbench. Now, I think I did mention in the last video that I was wanting to try and get a local update out for you, but let's just say we're just going to hold off on that for a little bit. There's some other things I want to sort out with regards to locos and whatnot, so we're going to hold off on that. And I just thought we'd do a little quick update on some rolling stock that I've been working on. Wasn't planning on doing this, but yeah, one or two things have just cropped up, and and yeah, I've ended up working on them. So first things first, over on the layout, as I showed in the layout update, I've got an old tanker that I'm using for the water for the steam locos. Now I'm not just going to go plonk a tanker on there, you know, it needed a bit of work doing to it to replicate the ones that I've seen before, especially at peak rail. So I thought I'd best get that job done and out of the way so I can get it fitted to the layout. So this is what we've got so far. Now I'm still getting to grips with this backwards camera, but we'll proceed. Anyway, here it is. So as you can see, it's just a shell tanker, but it's had a bit of hefty modification to it. Excuse me. You know, to make it suitable for what it is I'm needing. So first of all, I gave it a good weathering, so the new streak effect that I'm really enjoying. Got that all over, especially between the ladders and whatnot. No rust really. I've just gone for black, just dirt washes. Wanted to keep this one, you know, in a nice-ish condition, so we've gone all over with some black streaks. And then we had to begin the scratch building for the actual water pipe. Now, piping I've used, which was actually a bit of good fortune. The Nightwing fueling point that I've got over on the layout, it comes with an excess of pipework that's supposed to come out of the back of the fueling point, but I didn't have the room for it, so as for it goes over on the layout, my piping is underground. And all this rest of the pipework that I had left over I was able to bend, chop up, and, you know, manufacture this water piping. So what we've done, we'll just turn it upside down. I've put a hole in the chassis. Hopefully the camera will pick it out, but there's a hole in the chassis just here. And then it was literally just a case of feeding the pipework in the angle I needed it. So we've bent out of the chassis up and round to the outside. Big upright, and then, you know, a length along there to swing round onto the locos. There is a very short piece of brass wire along the angle there to keep it all tight and they give it the ability to swing. And then just here on the end, we've got the sock, which is just a piece of masking tape that I've folded around the end, bent to shape, and weathered. And I'm so chuffed of it, so proud of it. It looks a hell of a lot better than I was imagining. It looks great on the layout, so it just needs fixing into place properly now that I've shown you a lot, and it can stay there as a permanent fixture. But yeah, come out a hell of a lot better than I was expecting. It's been received rather well on Instagram. I said before, you know, most things go on Instagram before they go onto YouTube. I've had a lot of conversation, a lot of interest on there from, well, many people, shall we say. So yeah, come out well. I'm very happy with it, and it looks great on the layout next to the coal stairs. Now there has been some work over on the layout. Won't show you that today, but you will see it, and this fits in there rather nicely. So there we go. That's the first thing to show you. The water tank is now done. Bob that one out of the way. What should I show you next? Yeah, right. A long time ago, I owned this particular wagon, shall we say. It was never really a favourite of mine, and I ended up selling it on. And then for some reason I had an urge to own one again. So I managed to get a hold of one, and I did want it for a particular reason. I wanted to give it a rework, I wanted to give it a repaint, and so that's what I've done. Now I'll just try and wheel this into shot somehow if I can get it in. Might have to zoom out ever so slightly. There we go. The good old Hornby crane. Now this is the smaller crane that Hornby do. Normally comes in a very bright yellow or sometimes red. The one I used to have back in the day was yellow, and this one was yellow as well. I managed to pick it up brand new, a couple of quid, not a lot. I knew exactly what it was I was wanting to do with it, and it didn't take me long to get it done. It was literally done in the space of maybe, I don't know, half an hour, if that. So I received it, got a quick strip down, and I always knew that I was going to put the actual crane body into grey. Now I've seen prototypes of this so-called crane. Now obviously there is some differences with this being a Hornby product, and it isn't exactly prototypical, but most liveries of this kind of crane are grey. So we gave it a quick blast of grey. Another thing I've done is the back of it. I've kept the back yellow. I've kept it yellow, and I've added some wash stripes and give it a good weathering. Then hopefully there you can pick out that the buffer beams are red, just to give it a little bit more of a different look. And yeah, come out very well. I was planning on attacking it with my weathering, and it was actually my friend who said, Matthew, do we really have to attack everything with such a heavy, a heavy weathering? I thought, you know what, you're right. So this is literally just got black wash all over it, and it just toned down the grey quite nicely. There's a build-up of muck in the chain gear, and that is literally it. Everything else just had a black wash. So there's a tiny bit of streaking on the yellow panel on the back, but yeah, come out rather well. Very pleased with it, and it's been going around the layout very nicely indeed. So very cheap, very quick little project. Yeah, nice little Hornby crane. And then with that, I also gave this a little tart up. This is just exactly the same. It's just the base of one of the Hornby cranes. It was something that I had, and I thought, well, I've got it. It was in a bit of a rusty, mucky condition, so I've just given it a spray, and that's been going around rather nicely with just different loads on it. So there are a couple of wagons that have been worked on. Now the next one, I'll have to zoom out of this one because we're going a bit larger. Right, this one I've worked on, but I really can't lay claim to it as being fully my own. This was something that I got, and it needed finishing off. It needed a bit more effort put into it, a bit more care, and I decided I would be the person to give this particular model just that. Now it is a coach, hence the zooming out, and it is a coach that I've wanted to do myself actually, but I've just never ever got round to doing it. But it is a conversion, and it is a conversion I wanted to undertake, and here that is. So there we go. As you can see, we have an EWS saloon coach. So yeah, not a repaint I have done. Now this has been sat on eBay for a very long time, shall we say, weeks and weeks and weeks, and it never sold, never sold, and I continuously watched it, and the guy never budged on the price, and ultimately all these weeks later it never sold. So I put in an extremely cheeky offer, very cheeky offer, and he didn't accept it. So I thought, right, fair enough, you know, this is only a try-on coach. It's a try-on coach that's just had a respray, so it is still a very basic, very cheap in these days, you know, piece of rolling stock. I could appreciate the paint job, but you know, it was what it was. So declined the offer, and it got left, and again it never sold. And he eventually came back to me a couple of weeks later, and accepted more or less the very cheap and cheeky offer that I put in for it, and I got hold of it. So I saw it as a project. I knew it needed work doing to it, just to bring it up to a bit more of a, you know, a detailed standard. Now I was prepared to give it that. Now before we get to the ends, as you can see, it is a very nice paint job. I must admit they've done a really good job. From what I can tell, it's been sprayed. There's not really any evidence of it being brush painted. It's very crisp, it's a very crisp lining, nice transfer applications, and yeah, the glazing there has been painted on the back. So yeah, I couldn't fault it really. Now the roof. Those of you will know that this roof is incorrect. The EWS Saloon has a maroon roof to match the body. Now this was the only area really that let this model down. The roof had most definitely been brush painted, and it was not to the same quality as the sides. And I couldn't live with it. It was awful. It was very streaky, it was very patchy. I could have set to brush painting it myself with my maroon, but I didn't want to risk it being a different shade. I didn't want to risk the bad paint job underneath still coming through, so it had to go. So it now has a grey roof, your average grey coach roof, but this is incorrect. You know, it should be a maroon roof, but I can live with it. I have left it in a, how should we say, a condition of it needs repainting, as if it were prototypical. It's very heavily weathered with streaks. Camera won't pick this up, but there is a lot of cracked peeling effect with black washes sat inside it along the edges. That's simply done with just a bit of matte varnish just plonked in areas, and just let it streak, and it will, if you put matte varnish directly onto paintwork like that, so neat, without it coming neatly out of a spray, it will attack the paint and you'll get a nice peeling effect. So that's what we've got. Will I paint it maroon in the future? Possibly, possibly not. I'm not too fussed. You know, I can live with it how it is. It's a very nice piece of rolling stock, so yeah, we'll leave it so. Obviously the ends, where have we gone? There we are. The ends. He's cut the windows out, done a very nice job of that. We've got a yellow panel on the front with some red buffer beams. Again, very nice. The other end, this is where it needed a bit of work doing it, or I felt like it did. It does have the windows cut out, it does have the yellow panel, but it had none of the detailing that it requires. So I've gone ahead, I've fitted a lamp, fitted some piping, fitted the cables, and I've just put a figure just inside there as well. Hopefully it picks it up. May still have to work on this lighting, I think, on the workbench, but yeah, hopefully you can see that. And all in all now, you know, just a little bit of effort. It's had a very, very subtle weathering down the sides. You're never going to be able to see that, but I can see the very faint streaking. And it's, yeah, as I say, it's just taken a little bit more effort, a little bit more, you know, and it's just brought this up from quite a simple project into a bit more of a, how should we say, a bit more pleasing on the eye. But I'm very happy with it, especially for the bargain it was. So that's been running around. It's been nice to have a saloon coach. Like I said, I've been pondering that conversion myself. I probably will still do it. I know what coach I have in mind for that, but we'll see. And that is that for everything that I have to show you. One thing I will mention is that there will be some more Matthews modelling coming up. I may well stay on the coaching theme for that, actually. Those Triang wagons I showed you not so long ago, they were a gift from a friend, and there is some coaching stock that I got with that as well. So I've got a couple of plans for them, so get ready to see those. Like I say, the local update I'm putting off for now, and I would imagine it will be a layout update that you see next. There's been some work going on the layout. We've had a change on the layout. So yeah, that'll probably be the next video. One other thing to mention for anyone who's watched this far in the video: running sessions. I really want to do some running sessions. I've been running the layout most of the time lately. You know, having fun in it, got it back up and running. I've got a load planned, but I have mentioned in a video before that I'd love to get you lot's thoughts on what running sessions you'd like to see. So even ones like regular commenters and things like that, if you watch it, just go down, just put one word, anything, just something that I can gauge, you know, on what kind of running session to do first, or you know, things to think about that you'd like to see. But it's getting a bit long now, so I'm going to stop. So as always, let me know what you think of these, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.